In this video, we're going to take a look at the Battle of Fallen Timbers and the Treaty of Greenville, which ultimately would mark the end of Native American resistance in the Old Northwest. Now, important point to keep in mind is, during the American Revolution, many Native American tribes sided with the British. Remember, the British had issued that proclamation line of 1763. They felt if the Americans won, and they were right in this, that they would continue to move westward into native land. And when the war ends with the Treaty of Paris, nobody, the British, the French, the Americans, nobody consults the Native Americans to see their feelings about all this land being handed over all the way to the Mississippi River. And what ends up happening is, if you recall, even during the Articles of Confederation, all the way up into the George Washington administration, the British continued to occupy forts on American soil. They continued to be a presence, especially up in this area near the Great Lakes. And so this is kind of the backdrop to what's going to be some conflict. Another thing to keep in mind is, remember, the United States in its young years is establishing those Northwest Ordinances, which is creating the orderly settlement of this region. And so this area is area that is quite populated with Native American tribes. There's all sorts of tribes in this region, and the American settlers are moving west into this area. And the Native people are going to resist this annexation of their lands. Now, here's the thing that happens. The British have those forts, and you can see those forts throughout the Old Northwest, and they're starting to sell weapons to the Native American groups in the region. And they're selling this, and they're involved in trade, and what occurs is the Native people decide in roughly 1785 that they are going to begin resisting annexation actively with what is called the Northwest Indian War. And it's not really one war, but a series of battles. Sometimes it's referred to as Little Turtle's War, named after one of the chief leaders of this native resistance. So you have the battles take place, the Northwest Indian War, and there's Little Turtle right there. He is the chief of the Miami people in the region. And so he, starting in 1785, but all the way up until 1790 and 1791, this Northwest Confederacy, which is a bunch of Native American tribes, they start winning some battles. In fact, in 1791, you have St. Clair's defeat right here. St. Clair's defeat, the United States lost over 600 men, with a few more hundred wounded, and it's one of the, if not the biggest loss of U.S. forces at the hands of Native Americans. And so Little Turtle, and he's accompanied by another guy, a Shawnee tribal leader named Blue Jacket, they're kicking some butt. And they're getting support by the British, who continue to play a role in this region with those forts. You can see them on the map in the pink circles. And so the United States is struggling how to respond. Now here's what happens. This is all going to come to an end with the Battle of Fallen Timbers, and there is where it's going to take place. So what happens? Well, George Washington doesn't like the fact that the United States is not doing very well, and he starts ordering that we need to protect the settlers and enforce U.S. sovereignty over this region. We need to handle this situation. St. Clair's defeat and the other battle that happened the year prior, the Americans are asking and demanding that something be done. George Washington turns to General nicknamed Mad Anthony Wayne. General Anthony Wayne was an American Revolutionary War hero, and he starts training people to go into this region, organizing them, training them, giving them the proper fighting skills to defeat the Native American resistance. And that, of course, is going to take place in 1794. Unfortunately for our Native American homies, it is the Battle of Fallen Timbers, which is the final battle of the Western Confederacy attempting to stop the encroachment upon their land in this northwestern territory. Battle of Fallen Timbers, it is a decisive defeat for the Native Americans, and it will be the last major battle. Not too long after the Battle of Fallen Timbers, you will have the Treaty of Greenville, in which the Native Americans in the region will give up huge tracts of land in the Old Northwest, much of present-day Ohio, all the way up into the Great Lakes region. In exchange for the Treaty of Greenville, the United States government will give $20,000 to the tribes of the area, but like many treaties, many of the provisions will be ignored as the years go on. And unfortunately, story will not have a happy ending for the native people in this region, because here you could see roughly by 1783 where U.S. settlers had occupied, and over the next couple of decades, all the way up into 1850, there will be a steady progression of loss of land for the native people in this region. That does it for today and the Battle of Fallen Timbers and the Treaty of Greenville. If you liked the video, click like, tell a friend, hug a stranger, and subscribe to Joe's Productions. Peace out, homies.